Hi, welcome to Brooklyn Cooking, a place where Brooklyn locals share their home cooking creations. I'm Laura Kraber, and today we're going to make polenta topped with sautéed mushrooms. For this recipe, you'll need 1 cup of polenta, 4 portobello mushroom caps, 16 shiitake mushrooms, 3 cups of chicken broth, 1 teaspoon fresh thyme, 1 teaspoon fresh rosemary, 4 chopped cloves of garlic, half a cup of Parmesan cheese, 4 tablespoons butter, salt, pepper, balsamic vinegar, and olive oil. The first thing we're going to do is boil our chicken broth. So I'm going to pour this into this pot over here. This is our 3 cups of broth, and I'm going to turn that to high just to get it going. While that's heating up, I'm going to make my mushrooms. Turn the mushrooms on to about medium, and we'll add our tablespoon of olive oil, and we'll add 2 tablespoons of butter. You can really use any combination of mushrooms for this dish. I love shiitake mushrooms, and I also love portobellos. You could use white button mushrooms. You could use really anything you find. Cremini, any type of wild mushroom is delicious. But first we're going to put in our shiitake, then we'll put in our portobello. Now you can see the mushrooms are really beginning to simmer and get hot, which is really nice. If your pan does get dry, you can always add just a touch more olive oil just to keep things cooking nicely. At this stage, I'll also add just a little bit of salt and a little bit of pepper. You can add the garlic either at the very beginning when you first put in the mushrooms or when they're about halfway done if you like a stronger garlic taste. Now that they're nice and soft and you can see they're really pretty well cooked, I'm going to add my fresh herbs. That was the rosemary, here's the thyme. Add 2 tablespoons of balsamic vinegar. That adds both flavor and moisture to the dish, and it's sort of the finishing touch. Okay, the mushrooms are looking great. I'm going to set them aside and focus on the polenta. So, the stock is boiling, the chicken broth is boiling, so we're going to sprinkle in the polenta gradually and stir as we do that. Polenta can clump, so that's why we sprinkle it in gradually. If you dump it all in, it'll work as well, but it'll just be a little more clumpy. You can use the back of your spoon to break up the clumps like that. So this dish, which is 1 cup of polenta, typically serves about 3 to 4 people. If you make a bigger batch, you can use the leftovers to make a different dish the next night. For example, you can pour it into a baking dish and then slice it, let it cool, and then slice it into squares. And you can grill those or toast them or heat them up in the oven. You can top those squares with a different type of topping, such as a tomato sauce. The polenta will take about 5 minutes, sometimes a little bit more. And what's happening is the water is mixing with the cornmeal, and it's gelatinizing into one uniform mixture, kind of like a thick soup. When the polenta has cooked down into a nice consistency and it's soupy and thick, we can add the butter and the Parmesan. Okay, so that's looking beautiful. We're stirring that nicely, and I'm going to add a little salt and pepper to this. Polenta is a very forgiving dish. If it gets a little dry, you can add more liquid. If it needs a little more flavor, you can add more Parmesan, but you do need to taste it to see if it's ready. It doesn't cook to an exact science. Just see if the cornmeal has all dissolved and it's a nice uniform texture. So delicious. Great, everything is ready. You want to just take a nice heaping dollop of the polenta, which has got the consistency of pudding, and then top it with your mushrooms. I'm using a nice rosemary garnish. The polenta came out great. Now we're ready to eat. The creamy Parmesan blends perfectly with the garlic and herbs and the mushrooms. This is one of my favorite dishes. Thanks for joining me today. Be sure to check out brooklyn-cooking.com for this recipe and more.